Well, today is Friday, February 20th. It's 3 p.m., the monthly planning commission of the village of Southampton, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We start with the item number 1, which is a roll call. We have Michael Anderson.
Present.
We have Christian Picot.
Present.
We have Jacob Yayanan.
Yahayan, present.
Present. Jeannie on Zoom. Jeannie?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. And Michel Brogard. I'm here too. Okay. Second item. Motion to approve the minutes of the January 16th, 2026 Planning Commission meeting. Everybody read them? We got the comments?
Discussion. Jeannie, I just want to make sure once and for all that the record was corrected, that I was there present in the room as opposed to by Zoom, including the final draft that I saw. Do you know if that ever got changed?
Yes, Jolie said that got changed and will get posted once you approve the final minutes, which you did.
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you. Number 3, introduction of Nick Gribas as alternate member of the Planning Commission. Christian, do you want to say a few words?
Sure. So we will have the Board of Trustees next week put a motion to have an alternate member join the Planning Commission in the name of Nick Gribas, who will introduce himself in a minute. But I just wanted to briefly mention that this is coming up at the work session for the trustees next week. And the reason for having alternates is obviously we have 3 members coming up whose term is coming up in 2027 and 2 others in 2028. It's really important, if you do this well, to have other players on the bench who can actually learn what we do, how we do it, and how successful a planning commission can be as a player. And the idea for the mayor and the rest of the board to have an alternate is a good idea, and it'll give us an opportunity to work with Nick. And if and when a vacancy occurs, Nick can jump in. And Nick will participate, obviously, in all the discussions as a member. He'll be an alternate, but we're looking forward to have Nick. So I've asked Nick is here today in the audience. Maybe, Nick, if you could come to the podium, introduce yourself, and share, who you are, what you're going to bring to the commission would be super helpful. I know 2 of us have met you, but the others haven't. So for the Planning Commission and the members of the public who will hear about the resolution next week, it'd be great to put a face and a name behind the resolution for next week. Thank you, Nick.
Well, thank you, Christian, and thank you, Michelle, for the reminder also to come join you today. And I've met some of the members of the commission, Jacob, Michael. Jean, we've haven't met yet, but I'm sure we have a lot in common.
Yes, I'm sure.
So this is an honor to participate and contribute to the town that we all care for. And I'm looking forward to working with you and the whole team. In terms of my background, I've been a New Yorker for quite some time. I went to school in Columbia and been an engineer, always around New York City and vicinity, and then also have been a management consultant advising a number of companies across industries. And more recently, I have been a village resident since 2004. and have been spending a lot more time here since 2019, and have joined Corcoran during my golden years, so to speak. So this is, this is quite an honor, and looking forward to having fun with all of you as we tackle some of these challenging questions for the village and the town.
Great.
Thank you.
Quick question, if you don't mind. Your engineering background, what is that? What type of engineering?
It's not civil, even though, I did quite a bit of civil work as a member of the engineering staff of Exxon, but it's been chemical engineering.
Oh, okay. I was just curious with the sewer project coming up,
Well, the sewer project could be somewhat of a chemical challenge or a process flow issue. But sure, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of, I've dealt with infrastructure projects as part of the Exxon Corps of Engineers, so
Great.
to speak.
Thank you.
So, I'm looking forward to.
Great. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
Thank you very much and welcome. All right. Item number 5, public safety wireless tower at
Sorry.
Windmill Lane Fire Station.
You missed an item that I have here, which is the number 4, mission of the Planning Commission.
Oh, I thought you addressed that when you
No, I
introduced
didn't.
it.
I
Okay.
didn't. So let me do this. And Nick, for your benefit, I'll share with you the mission of the Planning Commission, but also for everybody here in the room and for you at home, share with you the mission of the Planning Commission. And I say this since some of our trustees are acting like they recently discovered gravity. Let me share with you what's in Chapter 20 of the Village Code. It defines the role of the Planning Commission. What it first reads is that in March 2000, the Village Planning Commission was created for the purpose of making recommendations to the Board of Trustees with respect to implementing its comprehensive plan and achieving the goals and objectives identified. But one should also take the time to read on, and I quote from the same code, promote the public health, safety, and general welfare. And this language is incredibly broad. If a new issue arises, for example, the need to advise on gas leaf blowers, how to become a Tree City USA, deer who are no longer a public nuisance but a public safety issue, a cell tower to benefit first responders, or a water reservoir that's not in the master plan, the commission can address it under the umbrella of public safety or general welfare. Finally, when you read the Section 20, there's also a Section 3D of the Village Code of Chapter 20, which defines also some other duties of the Planning Commission. And I quote, they're making recommendation to the Board of Trustees with respect to matters referred to the Planning Commission by the Board of Trustees. So if a mayor decides he wants the Planning Commission to study the impact of generous health care benefits for trustees, he can formally refer that issue to the commission, and the commission has the authority to investigate and make recommendation, as it did on that particular topic of trustee benefit in 2022. And what I want to highlight is that these findings were endorsed by everyone on the commission, including Mr. Simeoni, who was a commission member at the time and who also thought that these benefits were egregious. So I think it's important when you read from the now trustee who served on the Planning Commission, I quote, their role under Chapter 20 of the Village Code is merely zoning and planning. You have to have a sense of humor or simply recognize a cognitive lapse there. Separately, you can also read in a local paper from another trustee that the Commission's argument on a democratic referendum, I quote, range from the unconvincing to the laughable. This is more concerning because it comes from a trustee who actually works to find solution on a variety of topics and contributes. And thank you, Rob, for that. Some of us had, a productive discussion with him yesterday on ADU and BES. And look, I would simply encourage the language to be conducive for collaboration and debates instead of letters which can fuel unnecessary division. So I just wanted to put it out there. And this is a good opportunity with Nick joining us to thank this commission for their unwavering commitment to serve their community with integrity. It's really an honor for me to lead this group. We've done a ton over the last few years, and residents have appreciated the forward-looking thoughts as this commission has always done for the last 25 years. So I just wanted to put that out there for everyone's benefit. Nick, the community, everyone around this room, in terms of what we've achieved and what the kinds of things we've worked on, which has been fantastic to contribute to the community. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on to point number 5, public safety wireless tower at Windmill Lane Fire Station. I think you can all witness that it's happening. The workers have been there. The hole is being dug, and we should have a tower erected in the next few weeks. And then comes another project, which is getting the Motorola equipment on top of the tower, which is still in discussion between the fire department, the police, and the mayor and the vice mayor. I think Officer Wetter is actually attending a Motorola conference in Orlando next week or something like that. And then the 3 carriers, namely Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile, getting them on the tower and getting them to pay rent, which is split 50-50 between Diamond Communications and the village. And then there is also the fact that they've started to pay rent for the space, and they will soon write a check for $500,000. I call it the Zinanti check, because he's the one who extracted the enormous amount of money from Diamond Communications. Well done, you. So that's the public safety wireless tower at Windmill Lane. Next subject, number 6, Southampton Village Partnership. Ginny?
Yes, hi. I'm delighted to report that the SVP has made a lot of progress to date. We have a more formal structure with various committees that have been formed, such as the website, membership, events, and fundraising committee, amongst maybe 2 others that are TBD. We're working hard. We're working with a fantastic local creative design firm, which is going to hopefully launch a website that will be showcased in April at the Southampton Inn to the businesses to present and help educate and garner excitement for what could be a central repository to help showcase not only the events but the offerings that the village has to offer year-round. So stay tuned for that. And we are working hard to come up with fundraising events throughout the year, the first being something to support the U.S. Open. So stay tuned. A lot more will be presented over the next month or so.
Jeannie, thank you. Have you decided on the website name?
That will be rolled out.
Like a domain?
What did she say? Sorry, can you repeat?
We're not ready to share that yet.
Thank you.
All right. Well done. Thank you, Jeannie. Item number 7, the water tank project at North Magee, Tuckahoe Woods. Jacob?
Let me provide a visual for the benefit of everybody. Okay.
Oh, that looks like a nice reservoir.
Probably the one in upstate New York, no? There we go. This is one in the North Fork. We have been collaborating with Suffolk County Water Authority and their engineers. A survey was completed, and at the direction of our village mayor and deputy mayor, I've gone back to the co-chair of operations to request clarity on what is known as at-risk development cost, the details of that. What will be the provisions of a long-term land lease and what that economics would look like. And bear with me, I know I asked a third question. The easement discussions between ourselves and the Southampton Township, and thanks to our deputy mayor, the motivation to collaborate and work with Southampton Township has been established, and now what we're doing is we're clarifying the economic framework and the benefit to the village. And just as a minor recap, this is an opportunity to add additional 2 million gallons of water reserve to ensure the sustainability and the abundance of water at peak usage during the year, to reduce any concern of potential public health hazards, especially when water pressure is low. The intended agreement is that the village bears no cost, and hopefully Deputy Mayor Zanotti can pull another $500,000 out of him. I'm not entirely sure Suffolk County Water Authority would do it, but we'll give it a try. They seem like willing, able-bodied collaborators. So we will ascertain these 3 additional details, and I'll report it back for the next Planning Commission meeting. But the process is moving forward.
Were you able to get the easement between the town and the village to access the village property?
That conversation is going on. Eileen and Len have been talking with the township side, but there's no barriers or hold up as well. The first clarity that was needed and that was done already is the clarity of the survey, and that's been established now. The rest is the details that we're working through.
And the picture you showed,
This is an existing facility up in the North Fork that we did a site visit.
but I think that the one we're considering would be mostly underground, am I correct?
Yeah, this is both above grade and below grade. Let me show bear with me, everyone. I'll try to pull up as much as detail as possible. I think that one of the pictures, here we go, should be it. Here we go. This is, let me zoom it in so everybody can see it. This is pretty much what our location would look like. There'll be a portion that's below grade, and then there'll be a portion that's above grade as well. So this is what a typical design would look like, and this would be the one at our location as well.
And the water doesn't come from rain, right? It's pumped from the aquifer?
Yes, I mean, the watersheds, I'll leave that to their engineers to figure out the intake as well. Yeah, it is an aquifer play.
So one of the other elements that was key for this discussion is to have the town to be willing participant. Though the site is on a village-owned site, the town needed to participate. Here's why, to your question. The well is to the west, and you're going to have to pipe underground the water from the wells to the reservoir underground with the town. So that's one easement that the town needs to give to Suffolk County Water Authority, and we have every indication, working with the town village planner and discussions with the board, that this would be done. The other easement is just necessary, because to get to the site, which is landlocked, you have to have an easement between between the town and the village to be able to travel to that site. That site's been in ownership of the village since the 1950s. I can't explain why at the time this site was gifted. There was no easement done with the town. It was an oversight that's been going on for 75 years, and it's just a matter of correcting it. That's easy. But I think what Jake is really saying is we had a call yesterday where we want to move and understand what kind of lease arrangement we can get, how much
Right.
money Suffolk County Water Authority would give the village to use this site, rental income, basically, think of it that way, because we now know a lot of the pieces. The survey, willing parties, both the town and the village and the board will have to consider all of the public safety issues, public water quality issues, benefits, but also the income to the budget, revenue to consider for the trustees at some point. So that's where we are.
Alex, would you have anything to add to either the safety wireless tower or the water tank from the planning standpoint? Everything is
Jacob,
in good order?
I have a little question for you. Have they given you a time frame if this was to go forward as to how long it would take to build?
It's an excellent question. Usually it's a 24-month construction period.
2 years?
Yeah.
Okay. And I know they came to us, Suffolk County Water, just for general awareness, they came to us, the village, asking for something like this. And I know they're very excited about doing this project.
Well, we just politely prodded them. We actually invited them because I think I was getting a little bit concerned with the articles that they kept posting about the water hogs. And I felt there was a more tactful way of providing a community benefit solution. So I think that was the opening that they were looking for. So
That was a good opening you gave
yeah,
them.
and we took advantage of it. Yeah, politely.
I think what the community needs to also understand is we uncovered through this water hog discussion that we actually had an issue we weren't aware. This 500,000 gallon tank on West Prospect is basically empty by 8 a.m. During the summer. So if we had a class 5 fire, we wouldn't have any water pressure or even water to put that out. So that is a major public safety issue that we are trying to solve for the benefit of the community.
Good. Okay. Item number 8 on the agenda is the Public Tree Committee update. Michael?
Thank you,
Michelle,
Michelle.
can I just ask one question?
Sure.
Then come to the
Jacob, I think you guys are doing a great job on this one, on the water tank, and you know, highlighting the really the safety concerns that are there, both in terms of fire safety, but also in terms of quality of water, which is drinking safety. And we all got notices during summer months saying, you know, do not water the lawn because we don't have water. So hopefully this will address that problem, and we're not going to have that going forward.
The site will have a water treatment capability, so our water quality will improve, actually.
Yeah.
Good point.
So this is all good work, really spot on in terms of what is needed. The one question that I also had, it is the water tower right now, the elevated water tower is rather prominent in that immediate vicinity. Since we're getting, and that's a $500,000 water tank that's elevated.
500,000 gallon.
Gallon, right.
Yeah.
And we're getting a 2 million gallon tank. Is there any consideration to replace or retire the elevated tank, or are they two different things?
Actually, the 2 million gallon is reserve, so it'll still feed into it. What it'll do is it'll give certainty of enough volume within the tank, yeah.
Okay. So the intent is to really have both of them work in tandem, I guess.
Yeah, well, one's a backup
Okay.
to ensure we all have water and good quality water.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, Robert.
I believe, I believe it's also the case that the feed from the reserve to the elevated tank is a low-pressure pump system. It's not a forced pressure system. And it's the height and the gravity in the reserve tank that gives the pressure for firefighting purposes, unless you've heard something different. But I think that's how they work.
Right on, Robert, as always.
Good. Okay, Michael,
Okay.
on the Public Tree Committee update.
Again, thank you. Not much to report on the tree work, other than Monday is an extremely important meeting with our representative, Trustee Zanatti. Budgets are starting to be worked on starting Monday. We are working, well, just let me put this out there. In lieu of those budgets, I don't think I gave you this information or board this information, but Public Works put out this this request for information only for qualified contractors to get numbers, so Len can prepare for this meeting for tree pruning and tree removal. This was done by Public Works, as I said. Not only did they make a total count of all the public trees in the village, but they also did this. So we're ramping up for a great meeting on Monday. I don't know if it's going to be top on Len's agenda, but hopefully there's going to be a lot more money put into the budget just for the maintenance and the taking down of all the dead trees we have in the village. That's it I have for the trees.
Thank you, Michael. I think they've identified some 800 or 900 trees that need to be removed, which is a pretty formidable task of the tree population we have. I'm, like every budget, it's a competing needs and balances that will be, figured out by the mayor, whose budget proposal it is, and we'll see where we go with that.
How much does it cost to remove one tree?
If we outsource it, which is what the proposal is asking for, the cost, because of the prevailing rates, and really the real cost is the carting away of the stump. It's about $6,000 or $7,000 a tree.
Per tree?
Yeah. So a lot of money will pay for a few tree removals, but we'll figure it out.
It's a good business to go into, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, that's a big number.
Yeah, it's a big number. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's because of the prevailing wage that the village has to pay, according to Public Works.
Unions.
Excuse me?
Unions.
Unions, yes.
Okay. Next, deer management update.
Okay. Thank you again. We have our year-ending report from Suffolk County Deer Management that I'd like to go over with the group. There, Michael Pastori, who is the owner of Suffolk County Deer Management, will be coming before the trustees, I think it's next week, to present his findings and what he has done so far this year. But I thought I should share it with our commission before that. So Michael writes here, total deer harvested this year was 68 total deer. We had 48 females, 20 males, which this year is quite a lot compared to the rest of the years, the 20 males. Normally we go for the does, but I guess we're doing such a good job that we went after the males this year to try to eradicate the problem. We have a total of now 40 properties being hunted. There were no second-party incidents. Actually, in the 3 years he's done this, there have been no second-party accidents. So he's got a summary here that I'd like to read. The 25-26 season reflects the continued success of the Suffolk Southampton Village Deer Management Program. Total harvest declined to 68 deer, down from 103 in 23-24 and 113 in 24-25. This reduction was anticipated and indicates the program is successfully transitioning from population reduction towards long-term population maintenance after reaching sustainable recruitment control levels. Public safety indicators continue to improve. Since program implementation, deer-related motor vehicles accidents have declined 37.5%. Highway Department deer removals have declined 40%. And 0 second-party injuries or fatalities have not occurred during the program's operations. Property participation increased by approximately 15% across the 40 properties, the highest level of access to date. Continued expansion of private properties participation remains the most important factor in sustaining program effectiveness. Program overview. Harvest totals for the 25-26 season were lower than prior seasons, consistent with projected population stabilization following multiple years of effective herd reduction. Program performance continues to be evaluated using total harvest and demographic breakdowns, resident deer sighting reports, police vehicle versus deer collision data, Highway Department carcass total removals. Where many areas reported reduced deer presence, some property owners north of Montauk Highway reported localized increase in deer activity. These reports primarily came from properties bordering large, undeveloped parcels, managed open space, or commercial and industrial lands where hunting access remains limited. He's going over his safety record. I don't need to go over that all that much. We all know that there has never been a problem in the 3 years he's been operating. I will discuss property participation, which is vital to the program. Participation increased this season with Suffolk County Deer Management operating on 40 properties compared to 35 to 38 properties in prior years. Sustained access to private property remains the single most important element in maintaining effective deer population control. Areas with limited access continue to function as refuge zones, allowing deer concentrations to persist and redistribute into surrounding neighborhoods. Additionally, increased residential perimeter fencing throughout the village continues to alter deer movement patterns, displacing feeding activity and concentrating deer movements into wetland corridors and unmanaged open space areas. Okay, let's see. I'll just go over for people that are data-driven that for 23-27, I told you the total harvested was 103. We had 83 females that year and 20 males. Properties that year were 38 and no second-party incidents. 24-25 season, total harvested was 113, 84 females, 29 males. No second-party incidents. And just as a reminder, this year, total harvested was 68, 48 females, 20 males, and no second-party incidents. Public safety indicators, police department, vehicle versus deer collisions. In 1922, there were 16 vehicle and deer collisions. 23, there were 12. 24, there were 8. And 25, there were 6. Highway Department, deer carcass removal, 23 there were 45, 24 there were 45, and in 25 there were 18. These long-term downward trends strongly support the continued effectiveness of the management program. His conclusion, Suffolk County Deer Management Program continues to demonstrate measurable success in reducing deer-related safety risks while maintaining a strong operational safety record. Future success depends directly on continued participation from private property owners. Residents experience increased deer activity are encouraged to coordinate with neighboring properties to enroll for the upcoming season. Thank you, Michael Testori.
Michael, thank you very much. I had a question. I wanted to go back to what I think everyone heard. $7,000 a tree times 900 trees is $6.3 million.
Yes, correct.
And is this commission encouraging the trustees to consider to outsource $6.3 million of expenditures
No.
to take 900? So
No,
what are
we're not.
what are we saying? I'm confused.
Well, no,
What is the commission recommending? I'm confused.
Well, we're certainly not recommending that number. What we're trying to do is look forward to a 4 or 5 year project where we go out and spend maybe $400,000, $500,000 a year, and we use what they use for snow removal, the route process for snow removal. They would use that as a barometer to where they would start with the trees and the pruning and the tree removal. But the pruning, which is also a serious issue, is going to be, I think, I'm not sure, numbers haven't come back, a lot less expensive than taking down a tree. But I will say, from personal experience, and I've had quite a few this past year, at least 3 where I have been contacted by village residents about very large trees that were in extremely poor condition, that were dead. And I spoke to Steve, and he got his men on it. And at each occurrence, his team took down a tree in 1 day. Right. And I'm talking very big trees, that they were not small. And they were all, 2 of them were on Woolley Street, so you guys can all imagine the size of the type of trees that there are on Woolley. So, I mean, our workforce can do one of those trees in a day or a day and a half. This is just, unfortunately, you know, with the parameters of how we have to hire outside help, this is what happens.
Right.
The cost.
Okay. So $400,000 allocated, 7,000 a tree is 57 trees, and you got 900 to take down. I mean, it just, I'm sorry to say, but it just doesn't make sense as a village resident taxpayer to be remotely going down that path. I can't do the math. I can't believe any resident could do the math. I'm sorry.
Well, it's just up for discussion, Christian, and this is, I'm just
I
giving
just
you
want to
the-
be, I just want to be,
No, but
the commission is
You have to
effectively
understand,
making
I'm
these
just trying to give
recommendations.
you
I
as
want to make
much
sure.
information as possible.
Right.
This is not in any way going to, you know, be determined by the tree committee or by the planning commission. It will be ultimately.
Of course it is. I
Determined by
just
the
want to make
trustee
sure
and
that the planning commission has voiced collectively their thought on those numbers.
I think we have.
Okay, thank you.
Quick question, you said that there had been a census done on the number of trees in the village. I've always said between 15,000 and 18,000 street trees. What was that number? Do you
I
know?
don't have it on me, Len, I don't know. But it's nothing like that. We were surprised by the number that came back. It was, I want to say it was close to 9,000 to 10,000
Okay.
trees.
Well, so a nice rule of thumb is that although some trees live longer than this, disease and accidents happen, a 50-year average life for a tree, let's say it's 10,000 trees. That says we should be on an ongoing basis removing and replacing 200 trees a year.
Right.
So there is, if that's our goal, is to stay up with, not just remediate what's been undone in the past at times, but to sort of get to a break-even sort of stasis, then we're talking about 200 trees a year removal and planting as a baseline.
And as you well know, you and the mayor are planting 200 trees a year, and you're very proud of it, which we're very happy about, but we need to maintain what we have. And in a couple of years, we're gonna have to maintain those that you've planted. So a program has to get started.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
What is the size approximately of the herd in the village?
Okay, now, since you asked us at the last meeting, and Christian has asked us in the past, and Suffolk County Deer Management doesn't really want to speak about total numbers because it's very hard for them to figure that number out. But I will share a text with you that I asked Michael. I said, is there any way you could give us some numbers? He said with a question mark, there's approximately 435 deer in the village right now. So, those are his numbers. I
square
don't,
miles.
Yeah, it means the
Six, that's
density
right.
went down supposedly from over 100 to 80, which would be commensurate with the numbers he's trying to advertise.
and it's recommended that 15 to 30 deer per square mile exist.
Right.
Only 15 to 30. So,
So we still have a long way
we
to
still
go.
have plenty. The huge issue we have is CPF won't let us hunt on their properties. We need a 150-yard setback for a bow. The estate section has that area, but if you go to northern part of the village, and I know in my neighborhood that they're coming back because there's no place to hunt. We had Brockett Funeral Home in the back there, that was great, and first year, but we lost that property due to them having children, which is understandable. But they're all pushing back now north, and we don't have the properties really, it's an issue. We have to, think through it.
I mean, the other issue is that the town refuses to do anything with it.
They refuse to do
So
anything.
we're 6.5 square mile in the midst of a township of almost 100 square miles. Any does that we will remove, or bucket, doesn't matter, that we'll remove, some other guy's gonna show up just a mile away and take that spot. I mean, we got, great stuff to eat in the village. So, I mean, it's gonna be a constant fight until the town wakes up and does anything with it. And I don't know how many deaths they want on the Highway 27 or what they're waiting for, but it is a public safety issue, and they refuse to recognize it. It's a shame.
I have another issue.
Okay.
When humans procreate, they usually create 50% male and 50% female, and I suppose deer do the same. So, when the guys with the arrows are killing, they literally assess if it's a female or a male.
Pretty easy to
They
tell.
do.
They do?
Yes, they do.
Different hips,
Hips.
back hips, narrower on the female.
And so they try to kill more female than male.
Correct.
Yes.
Because the females bear.
That's right.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Michael.
You're
Next item on the agenda is Southampton Village Workforce Housing. Jacob?
Thank you, Michelle. Let me, for the benefit of the community, we had a productive work session with Trustee Coburn yesterday, but I wanted to just provide some clarity. On our last month's meeting, there was discussion about what does the village look like versus the township by way of ADU regulations. And so I did a comparison. Happy to share this. This is available for anybody to do. And essentially, to Christian's point, the township has more wiggle room for obviously because of larger landmass, whereas in our village we are constrained. So some of the highlights are the floor area ratio in ADU versus our village. And again, that has a lot to do with the fact that they have more wiggle room to play with. Whereas in our code, we have minimum requirement of lot size of 7,500 square feet. Proving body, in the case of the township, they have a housing department, where in our case, it's really the zoning, ZBA. The township tends to be a little bit more stricter on the type of workforce that's required. Thankfully, we really don't have that necessity. You don't want to create enduring restrictions, if you will. So I'm happy to share this with anyone who would like it. But Robert, if you'd like, I can do a quick scroll of your red lines. Trustee Coburn took the initiative, and we thank him on doing some suggested redlining that both Alex and I joined in on the call, along with Christian, on some thoughts on compositions of ADUs. And I think the preference was to allow some adaptive reuse capability, mostly for garage-like structures versus pool-like structures, if you will. And it's really an ongoing conversation, so we still have some work to do. But Robert, you're welcome to highlight some of the key points that you redlined, because there were several.
Sure. Thank you, Jacob. Rather than looking at specific points, let me start by saying there were sort of three things that I felt we should focus on. One was the physical restrictions. Right now, we are limited in our code to accessory apartments within a primary structure, so presuming sort of an attic space or a basement space in most cases, but any interior, demisable interior space could be turned into accessory apartment in a primary structure in a detached single-family dwelling. And the idea here was to change the physical structure to allow certain accessory structures as well. That would put us more in conformance with both the town and East Hampton as well, but sort of taking some baby steps in. I, for instance, started off saying maybe existing such structures. In other words, if there are some underutilized accessory structures that exist in the village today, this could be another use for them, rather than perhaps trying to encourage construction of new accessory structures. There may be some legal niceties to that, but we can start there and expand it if we want to. And the second of the three goals, or sort of open items, was to just moderate a little bit the language. Some of the language with respect to criteria in assessing applications was very broad, and taken in combination could come across to a potential applicant as pretty scary. If someone were doing a risk analysis of what are the likelihoods of getting approval, and they read through the sort of layers of considerations that was allowed to the ZBA basically to say no, a lot of smart, risk-averse people who were committed to workforce housing might say, gosh, at the third one I was worried, and at the fifth one now it feels like there's too many hurdles to go over. So just is there a way to condense and soften some of that language a little bit while still keeping the protections we need? And just the third issue, which isn't so much identified in this document, but we discussed yesterday, was the intent here is very clearly not to create housing that would be available on Airbnb, and not to create housing that would be available for $5,000 or $6,000 a month for 4 months in the summer. That's not the intent. The intent is to create either additional housing for family members, adult children, or retired parents who you might want to live on the same property, but maybe for valid reasons, including psychological ones, living under a separate roof or in a separate place, and members of the workforce, to make it real workforce housing. So I would just say, and hope, Jacob, I'm not stealing your thunder, we would love for anyone who's listening here or watches this video. I've reached out to a couple people who weren't able to attend today, but I know have been interested in this topic. We'd like to organize sometime in the next week or two a Zoom call for just some additional brainstorming, like we did yesterday, with maybe a little more structure. I think our group will make some notes and understand these issues. Because last but not least, and really sort of a fourth open item, related to this third of who gets to use it, we also need to understand maybe a little better how the village currently basically qualifies and tracks accessory apartments or workforce housing, if you put the two together. There are groups like the Southampton Housing Authority and now the Community Housing Fund that independently sort of qualify and monitor and, you know, create affidavits and do some compliance checking for ongoing compliance for these units. And not any criticism either of our administration, past administrations, or people here in the village. It's a new enough issue. I'm not sure we've had the time to think through how we administer on an ongoing basis and how we keep that as simple as possible, ideally by using other people's criteria or maybe even outsourcing some of that entirely. But those are all open issues that anyone who has an interest in this one way or another you know, should reach out to Jacob, any member of the Planning Commission. Jacob and Christian, I think, have been the most involved in this. I know, Michelle, you spent, everyone's probably spent some time. Or to Alex Wallach, who's here in the room, or to myself. We'll put you on a list and notify you of a Zoom call to be determined.
Would like Nick Gribas, if he's amenable to that, to participate in that, given his knowledge of real estate and so on. And we want to have as many community residents who have an opinion on or thoughts on ADU. I mean, this is not workforce housing discussion. This is specific ADU.
Right.
Put a group together. We have notes from our last meeting yesterday that you and others who participate have, that were quite extensive in terms of everything we discussed as a foundation for the next conversation. I think it'd be great, Jake, if the Planning Commission could have something finalized in terms of recommendation. There may be nothing there. I'm sure there is, and I'm sure a group of people working together could do this. But I think by our May session, which is due May 15, we should have something to, maybe sponsored by a junior trustee here to actually put on the books. And I think that should be our target. May 15th gives us 3 planning commission meetings and you guys working in between to get something done.
Sure. I
'Cause
mean,
if we don't have it by May 15th, it's just not happening. So we got to have a deadline. I think that's, would you agree that's a deadline?
that'll work.
That makes sense?
I mean, Alex brought up a good point that a lot of the language is redundant language anyway, so we can sharpen it up as well.
And I'd also just say, you know, a final proposal, yes, to me that sounds reasonable. I would just say, we, like every other municipality, some of this is new and it's evolving. And the idea of getting to a perfect or truly final solution is not realistic. So, but getting to a next step, both in terms of maybe some actual tweaks to the code, but also some recommendations to operational aspects of it, maybe for people here in Village Hall. You know, we'll take it incrementally, and we can always come back and revisit.
I mean, it gives us 2.5 months of this task force to A, form, B, work, and give it a deadline so that you guys on the board can have, as you would probably sponsor, some text change in a public hearing for that, to hopefully have some form of ADU. Even if we have one ADU take up, that would be better than what we've got in the last 4 years, which is none.
I was going to remind, the reason for going to this in particular, there's some people who want us to think about some different things anyway, but a number of us notice we've had this law now for 4 years, a little over. There's been no uptake. So one strategy would be to loosen the reins a little bit and see whether that gets uptake, and if not, why not? And if so, is it enough? Is it too much? Is it? Yeah. So the incremental approach to me has some merit, but we should have sort of steps of increments, and I think May 15th is certainly, to me, realistic to have some recommendations for the next.
I don't think that's the problem. I have a curious thought, because Michael endured a circumstance already. Does it make sense, since we got the benefit of our deputy mayor and a trustee here, as we codify the recommendations for the Board of Trustees to consider, and then to, let's just say, to collaborate along with our ZBA associates as well, so they don't have a issue of whenever an applicant comes and they have a complete blockage, because one of our very own Planning Commission members just faced it already. So perhaps we can probably bring in a planning board or NZBA members into the discussion as well, so they don't have this, well, we were made aware of this kind of situation.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I mean, it's up to you to, and
Yeah.
Rob, to figure out your talent pool. Your talent pool, and it would include the village planner. Figure out the talent pool, get it, but that's a great idea,
Yeah.
having one
Bring in
PB and
one or
one
two,
ZBA, and then start working. I think it makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Jacob, I'm gonna.
Yeah, just for everybody's benefit, because it drives Sage crazy, and I understand
Yeah.
he wants to have the best production possible for viewers at home. If you have anything to say, come up to the microphone. Thank you.
So Jacob, I'd be happy to be included in this discussion. I saw some of the work that's been done, some of the discussion already, so I'm gonna withhold. I do have some ideas, and in fact, I worked with some first responders that worked in the hospital who were looking for a house, and we did find a house, so I can share those experiences. But I do have some thoughts about that, so
Yeah, we'll
I'm
share
I'm
with
going
you,
with whole
some of
comment
our
for now.
attachments.
He already has
He
a
has all
copy
this?
of
Okay,
yesterday.
great.
Yeah, you have the copy from yesterday's
Yes,
meeting,
I do,
right? The
yeah.
notes, yeah. Okay, you do.
Great,
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, just
Thank
send me
you.
your email. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
If I may, I just have a couple of things that I forgot. One thing was, Jacob, thank you for recommending that the zoning board and other boards get included in this, because it's all well and good for the trustees and people in the village to vote these things in, but when you have a board that's not on board with what the trustees want to do and make it very difficult, you need to include them in the planning process. I think that's great. One other issue, as far as the deer go, which I forgot to mention, although deer season is over, we do have, and this is for the trustee benefit, so you know, that are here, we have 3 DEC properties. We got special permits from the Department of Conservation that we went through last year, which was a very hard thing for Michael to do. But we were able to get in front of DEC and get properties that we can continue hunting on. So now we have 3 properties. So they will be continuing to hunt. I don't know how much they're going to get, but hopefully they'll get some. And just so you know, that's still ongoing, in case you're asked.
okay. Well, this brings us to point 11, which is any public comments, discussions, or other subjects. If you do have something to say, please come to the mic and try to limit yourself to a couple minutes. Yay! And please introduce yourself. Thank you.
My name's Sally Van Allen, and I live on North Main Street in Bowdoin Square. And I came for only one reason, that was to learn more about the auxiliary dwelling units. But everything you talked about has touched my property. My first thing is I'm thrilled about the water, but does either the Suffolk County Water Authority or the village want to take any action against the water hogs? So just as a resident here, I appreciate that we're doing something to protect our water, but we also have a few residents that don't respect the rest of the community. That's just...
I think I can answer that. I
Thank
read
you.
an article that says that as Suffolk County Water Authority is charging now a lot more whenever, so, like by brackets. So the hogs are
I don't think
paying-
that's a deterrent to the hogs. That's my only concern. But yeah. The trees.
What do you want to do? Shut down the water to these
Well,
guys?
whether it's making, I don't need to answer. You all know what the answer is. Yeah. The another thing is, I was one of those giant trees that went down right in front of my house, and happily it went a little bit one direction. It didn't hit the house, which it could have hit the house, and it didn't hit the neighbors' Land Rovers in their driveway. Did take out some hedge, but that was all right. The village guys were there very quickly. They did an unbelievable job. And one tree went down, And I now have 6 new trees in front of my yard. So I'll be interested to see how that develops. I'm a little concerned because the saplings are so large. The large tree brought down the wires. But I don't know if you know this, but the poles are shared by a number of organizations. And it's been my experience so far that no organization will take responsibility for making sure those wires go up high enough. So the wires still swing low, so that some of those brand new trees are only 18 inches from those wires. So within a year, you've got to prune them, and they're going to look like this. So I'm just a little concerned about that. And it's a main drag into town, so they should look beautiful. I love the idea of the canopy, but I'm a little worried that, or I don't know how to get those companies to go to the pole and say, no, put your wires back to where they are, because they have not returned to the height they were prior to the village tree pulling them down.
Well, Sally, I can answer that.
Oh, goody.
Each utility is in charge of their own wires. So if you do have sagging wires, whether it be telephone, whether it be secondary, whether it be primary wire, each utility is in charge of it. So you can contact them directly and tell them you have a huge issue with it. And,
Okay,
And they should respond.
okay.
I
Thank you.
know LIPA did. Loco did when I worked there.
Oh, you did? Oh, oh, good. All right. Well, if you could give me that
Right,
secret
so
phone number.
You can contact them directly.
Yeah, okay. All right. I will do that. Deer. Thank you very much for all the work with the deer. So my property is right here. I'm on the corner of Bowdoin Square and North Main.
Yeah.
My
Is
dog.
that the White House with the white picket fence?
No, it's the it's the next one. So the Herrick House, which is on the corner,
Okay.
and then the old Yunker House, which is the big white house, and I'm the next house. So fenced-in yard. My dog was gored in my yard. He went out. There were 3 does. He went after the does, and the buck came around the corner. So to your point about, I think you should get more males than females, because that one buck had 3 girlfriends, and he felt my dog was a threat. The dog survived, thank you. But deer are an issue, and I'd love to participate. I don't think I have the setbacks, but I'd love to have a guy with a bow and arrow sit in my yard, and it's not unusual. There's a lot next to Tate's, which, as you know, is not developed. So they spend a lot of time there, and then they trot across North Main Street, come up through the Younker's old yard, turn around and come into mine. So the deer is a significant issue to me.
No, it is for all village
Yeah.
residents, it really is.
Yeah.
But Sally, if you can give me your contact information, I'll forward that to Michael Testori from Suffolk County Deer Management, and he'll go out to your property, and he'll let you know exactly what he can and cannot do.
Oh, that's terrific.
Okay.
Thank you. I will give you my information. That's great. The, let's see, I have so many questions about the dwelling units. I have an old barn in my backyard, which was plumbed for sewer and water. It was occupied in the summer by my parents' housekeepers until they both passed, and then it was dormant, and because of that, I took the appliances out and just use it as storage. But I would be very interested, but I don't know that it's even savable at this point, so that's, I guess, a whole nother issue. And with that, I'd like you to address the issue of, when you're thinking about those, I am part of the village workforce, so, and I'm lucky that I inherited some property so I can live there, but I would like to provide that structure for workforce house, or whatever you want, but what are the restrictions moving forward? So let's say I need to live on the first floor, so now I want to rent my house, but I want to live in that. Can I do that in the future? I mean, those are just things to.
Yeah, Sally, we'd love to have you participate in the discussion, actually.
Yeah, I'd love to.
You'd be
I'd
one of
love
the
that.
ideal village residents.
Yeah, well, thank you.
I mean, thank you for coming today,
Yeah.
because you're precisely who
Yeah,
we're
you're
looking
what we're
for
looking
in this
for.
task force.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
we talk about codes, and it may seem complex, but what we want to hear are the grassroots folks like you who have an issue they're trying to solve, that want to be part of this ADU, and hear what you would like to do, and figure out whether there's a way to code it so that you could benefit from it. This is exactly what we're looking for. So thank you.
I'd be
And the
happy
good
to
news
help.
is there are grants right now, both for the cesspool treatment and some renovation cost treatment too, so you're not alone.
Yeah.
So there
Okay.
are some monies that can mitigate those costs to bring it to code and have it usable, functional.
That would be great.
Yeah,
That would be great.
happy to share it with you, yeah.
Thank
all
you.
that.
I just have one other thing, and you may change your mind about me after I tell you this, but I'd like to save the village an enormous amount of time. Prior to what I do now, for 35 years, I worked for something called the Gallup Poll. And I think the trustees and this planning board, every board can save an enormous amount of time on this referendum issue about term limits. If you attended that February 12th meeting, the referendum happened in that audience. And you may say that wasn't a representative sample, but yes, it was. Your citizens who are concerned about that issue were there. Those are also the same citizens that vote. And they clearly, I actually went into the thing thinking, because I can never, maybe it's me, but I'm like, how can anybody get anything done in 2 years? So I was of this mindset that you need 4 years, but my mind was changed when I saw the population of this village feels really strongly about this issue. I mean, I was amazed at how strongly they felt, but there was an overwhelming groundswell. So I feel like on February 12th, that referendum already happened. But that's all I have. But thank you very much. This was
Thank
very
you.
informative to me. And I think I took something.
All right. This is the end of the meeting. Adjourn. Oh, you have-
Wait.
Rob?
I just want to point out, for everybody's benefit who may be watching at home, that we do have a winter storm watch that was put out for February 22 and 23, so that's Sunday to Monday. National Weather Service in our area forecast confidence has increased that we may receive 6 inches of snow between Sunday and Monday.
Or more.
And there's also a chance of coastal flooding and expectation of gusty winds. So this is new information in the last couple of hours, which may mean, we'll find out soon, that some of our institution may close as a result. So decisions have to be made now between, I guess, Village Hall, the library, and other issues. So I just wanted to share that with everyone in this room and at home.
I'm going to piggyback on that for a second. Len, you've probably heard some of this too. We've had an incidence this winter, more so than in past years, of people parking cars overnight, sometimes for multiple days. Maybe something we should address more forcefully or specifically in the code. But with a big plowable storm, it's caused some issues in a few places. I'm sorry?
There is an answer to that, if you'd
Yeah,
like.
sure.
The reason that we declare emergencies is precisely for that reason.
Yeah.
That supposed to prevent people from parking on the street so the plows can happen, and we enforce it to the best of our ability when an emergency is declared and people don't move their cars. Yeah.
So I was just gonna, I assume that was the case. There's a car parked with snow behind it from the storm on January 25th. On Lewis Road. But it's greatly helpful to the highway crews for people to make sure that those are pulled away. And I'll reiterate what I said last week. If you're out and you can shovel the hydrant in front of your house or nearby, please do that too.
I dutifully did mine, just so
Good.
you know.
Thank you. And I'm just going to
coming
repeat, for those
into my
like me who
house.
watch News 12 every day, they mentioned this morning actually on News 12, there have been 42 fires in Suffolk County in January and February, house fires. 4 of them fatal, involving fatalities. And in at least 2 cases, the response time, including one of the fatalities, the response time was significantly delayed by the need to dig out the hydrant. We know it's a low probability event, but if you can, that's great. I didn't plan on speaking separately, but I just wanted to, I appreciated your comments at the beginning, Christian, and I wanted to just clarify a couple things. As I think many on this commission know from having worked with me and from my having been here, I have a lot of respect for not only the commission, but what you do. Second, I just wanted to let you know I never commented on the Commission's arguments in my letter. My letter said the reasons offered publicly and not the reasons offered by the Commission range from the unconvincing to the laughable. Just to be specific, I'll tell you what the laughable is. When someone says we should consider adopting this law to reduce the number of campaign signs, I find that laughable personally, because especially with the current proposal, because the current proposal specifically deliberately moves us to an odd year cycle, which should be the years where if we conformed with others where we wouldn't have any lawn signs. Because all other elections have gone to even year cycles on 2 and 4 year cycles, mostly 4-year cycles. So to put forward the idea of reducing lawn signs as a reason to change the election cycle, I think it's not serious to begin with, and it contradicts the proposal that's been made anyway. So that's what I found laughable, just to clarify. Third, I hear your comments on Article 20, and you're right about the language, including this catch-all general health, but it doesn't change what I said last week. The purpose, it is appropriate to create a village planning commission for the purpose of making recommendations to the Board of Trustees with respect to implementing such comprehensive plan and achieving the goals and objectives identified therein. This may be as simple as needing to change that purpose wording, because I'm not a lawyer, but I would just say, given that clear statement, everything that comes below it, including the discussion about matters referred to it, would be presumed to be subservient to that purpose. So maybe we need to change the purpose and say it's not just to make recommendations, but it's also to advise the village board or others as directed by the village board on other matters of general interest. It's not, I'm someone for whom words matter, and people thought about this construct in this language. The language as written says you have one purpose, and maybe we should change that. I'm open to it.
Thank you. So just as a closing comment on this, I've had a discussion with council specifically on 3D of Section 20, and she's perfectly comfortable that it is broad enough to address issues that are above planning and zoning. And as I said, I just find it to have necessarily a great sense of humor when I hear Mr. Simeone, who did deal as a planning commission member on issues of healthcare benefits. So I think we need to put all of this rhetoric to rest and work together, and reading these letters either in the press or in emails by one trustee or another is exhausting, and we'd love to work with you guys. If you don't want to, we don't have to. But it has to stop this divisive stuff, because it just doesn't work.
Okay.
So that's all we need to do. And look, I've gone to council on 3D Section 20. We're clear that it confirms it. There's no need to write it. And you're not going to get sponsorship from your own attorney who thinks it's fine.
Okay. With
So if you
respect to
don't,
3D, it does say that the matters referred by the Board of Trustees. That matter wasn't referred by the Board of Trustees, so maybe we should change the language there to say the mayor or any trustee, because it was not referred by the board. There's no action taken by the board to refer this matter to.
Well, I'm going to leave you guys to hash out amongst
Yeah.
yourselves.
If there's
But really seriously to think about what you're saying, to reopen a public hearing just to change 2 words in Chapter 20 is a waste of time. There's a lot of other stuff between the must-have that you guys need to work on and the nice-to-have. That's all I have to say. But again, you guys are the trustees, you're elected officials, we're just appointed making recommendations.
I'll just
So we'll move on.
finish
Thank
by
you.
saying if there was any unintended implied criticism, it was not aimed at this board. If there's unintended implied criticism, it's maybe a housekeeping criticism for us on the board. So I'll finish with that.
Thank you,
All right.
Robert.
Another comment? Yeah, Len?
Just one point to my colleague's statement. The village elections are always in June. All the other elections are in November, so signage will exist, whether it's an odd or even year, at 2 different times of the year.
Okay. Any other comments from the audience, from the board? No? So that's the end of the meeting, and we'll see you again on March 13th. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, Friday, March
20th.
20th. Sorry.
20th, yes.